Working caution number 1 at Bristol Motor Speedway. The incident involving contact with the 84 of A.J. Allmendinger, who is behind the wall, and Martin Truex, the 1 car. Leaders have been on and off pit road for pit stops, and a safety truck trying to hurriedly back into his stall there. He will get there, and the pace car will pull away. So we will get back to green flag racing. Kyle Busch will lead him down. Carl Edwards, who was the pole sitter, a half a car length away.
Have some guys on the inside there fighting really hard to be that car still the first one a lap down. Dale Jr. is about 7th car in line that would be eligible for that, so he's got a lot of work to do to get himself in that spot.
He's got a good car, but it's going to be hard to pass a lot of these guys when you have all the lead lap cars fighting for position also.
Yeah, there are 29 cars on the lead lap. Bobby Labonte, the first car a lap down. He's Skinner, Waltrip, Robbie Gordon, Montoya, Hornish, and Earnhardt Jr. among the cars 1 lap down. What about the 19 car of Elliott Sadler, who's having a very good run here in the first 75 laps? We talked about how tight the conditions were on pit road. Take a look.
If he gets in that pit stall and he slams on the brakes and slides the front wheels and can't steer it, slides right up next to the wall, they can get the right sides on the car, but they can't get around to the left. So Elliott has to back up and then get straight in the box so these guys can jack up the left side. Cost him a ton of time right there.
Yeah, he's back in 29th, the last car on the lead lap right at this point in time. So he had a good run going, but those are the kind of mistakes that you just can't make to have a good night here. It's not been devastating to him yet. He has a lot of time that he can still make up.
Elliott Sadler, one of the 11 former winners in tonight's race. Won in the spring of 2001 here at Bristol. If you just joined our coverage, Carl Edwards was the leader, was the pole sitter, has led twice for 53 laps. Kyle Busch has led 55 laps. Jeff Gordon credited with leading a single lap. There is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Why is he a lap down? Well, when they waved the green flag, he passed cars before the start-finish line and was black flagged, had to come on pit road for a pass-through.
Yeah. I think Clint wisely let him go right there, because that could have been devastating for this 07. That's a team that's fighting to stay in there, trying to get in the top 12 in points.
Yeah, when you get back to him.
Sounds like he feels like he got a little help there to get up out of the groove.
Oh, he definitely got help. Junior's on a mission. He's trying to get this lap back. Like you said,
the left front tire going down. Is that they going to start the air that low? That looked awful low.
Well, it doesn't look like it's flat yet. It's still running good.
Well, he is sailing now, gets up and behind, right in behind the 09 car of Sterling Marlin.
This is just not racing like we've been accustomed over the years of seeing these guys be able to race 2 and 3 wide around this racetrack.
Wow, look how high this 88 car is running.
Yeah, I just wonder if that left front's going flat.
Here's the replay. We'll show you the little tap a moment ago, the 07, 88. Oh.
Yeah, he just had a big run coming off the corner, and Clint didn't know he was up there. Then he gets the tap. That might be the one that Clint's not happy about.
Yeah, I just wonder, because that first bit was the left front whenever he got into the right rear of the 07.
Elliott Sadler on pit road, and guys, we're hearing loose seat belt.
Wow, you don't hear that very often. You can't run out here without seat belts. Not one lap.
Talk about how you bounce around in a seat. Got to have those belts tight. Kyle Busch is the leader. There is Carl Edwards, about a second and a tenth back in second spot. Jeff Gordon trying to turn his season around. There's Gordon, who qualified third and is running third right now. There's the 12 of Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman starting back in 11th position all the way up to 4th. And here is Kevin Harvick in the 5th place. Harvick set out the NASCAR Nationwide Series race last night. Had Cale Gale set that car on the pole because his focus was winning here tonight.
We have just crossed the one-quarter point of tonight's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race at Bristol. Our coverage presented by Pennzoil Platinum. 160,000 here in Thunder Valley looking on as Kyle Busch leads tonight's race. Our AT&T Crew Chief Challenge question we asked a little while ago. Which of the bubble drivers is most likely to miss the chase? Jeff Gordon, Casey Kane, Denny Hamlin, or Clint Bowyer? You said Denny Hamlin.
Huh. It'll be like that attitude last week. He kind of got fed up last week and said that, and fans probably said, you know what, his head's not in it. I think it's in it, though.
I'm thinking about Clint Bowyer, who's been struggling. But Clint looks pretty strong tonight. He's taking that hot rod, sticking his nose up and under a few people. But I tell you what, Tony Stewart continues to move forward. He is on a roll.
Looking at Clint Bowyer right now as he stands on the racetrack, 34 points outside of a place in the chase. Bowyer is in 11th spot. Only one caution in the race. One of the cars involved is behind the wall, Mike.
And that's Martin Truex. And this track is so tough on man and machine. Truex had a right front tire go down because of the brake temperature. Melted the inner bead. You can see the right side damage. A lot of work on the one, but they're going to be behind the wall for quite some time.
That's too bad. He had an outstanding car in yesterday's final practice. And Mr. Brewer, over at our Chevy Cutaway car, we said teams had to be prepared for anything tonight, huh?
Yeah, Alan, we were prepared. Believe me, we've got brake blowers for the beads right here. We've actually got fans coming in to cool the brakes because the heat transfer is going to come from this rotor up to the wheel, and this is the bead. You have to protect it because if you don't protect it, at the end of the day, you're going to come out here, and this is going to be the end result.
And that's not pretty.
That's not pretty. Let me tell you the reason all this problem's happening, guys. These new cars, they just don't handle as well. So when you get to the corner, you got to use more brake to slow them down, and that creates brake heat. And when you get a lot of brake heat, you lose those tires unless you can really cool them down with a lot of cooling, which Tim was showing us.
So Kyle Busch, after the restart, has moved away from Carl Edwards. Got about a 1-second lead, and already, Doc, he's back in heavy traffic.
He indeed is, and there's the 99 car of Edwards, who is chasing him. What about David Reagan? We documented he was the only car that had to go to the rear of the pack to begin tonight because he had lost his primary car with a wreck in qualifying. David Reagan has gained 19 positions, and as you heard Brad mention, how about Tony Stewart? By the way, Tony Stewart in the spring here led 267 laps. Tony Stewart has led the most laps at Bristol in 3 of the last 5 races, but hasn't won here since August of 2001. So he can get it done. He's got to be able to get that car to finish. Here he is trying to move around the 31 car. That would be for 7th spot.
And it's like Rusty said, he's doing it on all over the racetrack. He's running high right here. He's been real low. His car's handling great anywhere he puts it.
Amazing how much we're seeing these good race cars being held up by cars that are lapped down, but they're running just fast enough to keep these guys behind them. Dave?
And a driver would never complain about a car that handles that well and passes that many cars, would he, guys? His report wasn't that glowing on the 20 car, on top of the track, loose into the turn, tight in the middle, but they made adjustments for that, and it's still fast.
That just sounds like the new car, Dave. Sounds like it's handling perfect. This new car has been really tough for these guys to drive, and it's really not. Nobody ever gets this car to drive perfect. They just have to do the best they can with what they have.
Entering tonight, Kyle Busch had led 2,906 laps in a total of 57 NASCAR races. He has 17 wins, 8 in Cup, 6 in Nationwide, and 3 in the Truck Series, and he's leading here at Bristol again tonight.